The debt limit bill that Congress is considering to avoid a default on the nation's debt has a controversial provision that would benefit a natural gas pipeline project in West Virginia. The provision would expedite approval of all permits for the Mountain Valley Pipeline, a 303-mile natural gas pipeline that would cross through West Virginia and Virginia. The Mountain Valley Pipeline project is a joint venture of 5 energy companies that aims to transport natural gas from the Marcellus and Utica shale regions to markets in the Mid- and South Atlantic regions of the United States. The project claims that it would increase the reliability of natural gas supplies and the availability of natural gas at reasonable prices, as well as support the transition to a lower carbon future. However, the project has faced fierce opposition from environmental groups, landowners, and some local and state officials who argue that it would harm water quality, wildlife habitat, climate, and property rights. The project has also been plagued by legal challenges, regulatory delays, cost overruns, and construction violations. The pipeline has lost several key permits due to its failure to comply with environmental laws and standards. The debt limit bill would bypass the normal judicial and administrative review process that every other energy project has to go through and grant all the necessary authorizations and approvals for the pipeline within 21 days of the bill's enactment. This would effectively override any pending lawsuits or appeals that challenge the pipeline's permits. The provision was inserted into the bill by Senator Joe Manchin, a moderate Democrat from West Virginia who chairs the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. Manchin has been a vocal supporter of the pipeline and has argued that it is essential for the nation's energy security and economic development. He has also tried to attach similar legislation to other bills in the past but failed. However, not everyone in Congress agrees with Manchin's provision. 6 House Democrats have filed an amendment to remove it from the bill, saying that it is unrelated to the debt ceiling matter and that it would set a dangerous precedent for circumventing environmental laws and public participation. Senator Tim Kaine, a Democrat from Virginia, has also expressed his disappointment with the provision and said that he would work to oppose it. The fate of the provision and the pipeline remains uncertain as Congress faces a tight deadline to pass the debt limit bill and avoid a default that could have catastrophic consequences for the economy. The pipeline project is currently about 94% complete and hopes to be in service by the second half of the Mountain Valley Pipeline is a controversial project that would transport natural gas from West Virginia to the southeast, crossing through the Jefferson National Forest and several streams and wetlands. The pipeline has been delayed for years due to legal challenges and environmental reviews. But now, a bipartisan debt limit bill that was struck by President Biden and House Republicans over the weekend would speed up the approval of all permits for the pipeline and limit the requirements of one of the country's landmark environmental laws, the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA. Critics of the pipeline say that this provision is a betrayal of Biden's climate agenda and a threat to the health and rights of the communities along the pipeline's route. They argue that the pipeline would run through predominantly rural, low-income indigenous communities that have not been adequately consulted or compensated for the impacts of the project. They also say that the pipeline would contribute to climate change by increasing the demand for fossil fuels and releasing greenhouse gas emissions and pollution during its construction and operation. The pipeline's supporters, including Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, say that the project is vital for the nation's energy security and economic development. They claim that the pipeline is nearly done and has already undergone rigorous environmental assessments and mitigation measures. They also say that the pipeline would provide reliable and affordable natural gas to millions of customers in the Mid- and South Atlantic regions. The debt limit bill still has to pass through Congress, where some Democrats have filed an amendment to remove the pipeline provision. The fate of the Mountain Valley Pipeline hangs in the balance as lawmakers debate whether to expedite its completion or uphold its environmental scrutiny.